Howdy folks and welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode of Hearts of Iron 4 with the World Ablaze mod. And in the last episode we covered, let's say, the second half of the Gathering Storm, the 1938-1939 build-up phase, and we reached the beginning of the Winter War, Talvisota. And well, let me tell you this. First of all, I knew already that my poor little tiny Finland was not prepared, was ill prepared and ill equipped to face the onslaught of the Red Army. And one reason that really caught me by surprise was that at the beginning I didn't notice that in World Ablaze armies can only contain up to 12 divisions, which kind of makes sense because if you think like in the old, in the good old Hearts of Iron 3 system in which you had the chain of command, so my way was always to stack one army with 3 army corps and 3 divisions each. So each army had, I would say, maximum 9 divisions, or we could pump it up to 15 if each army corps had 5 divisions under its own command. And in World Ablaze, I think I like the idea of having 12 because it's kind of a compromise. Yeah, you can imagine either you have 3 army corps of 4 divisions each, or 4 army corps of 3 divisions each. Regardless of this, my very first attempt to hold the line was actually very successful, and I was really surprised by this because I thought that the Red Army would have just steamrolled me all the way back to Helsinki, and this surprisingly did not happen. And one reason, or the reason why I think this is the case, is because in World Ablaze the climate conditions and the terrain are heavily affecting your ability to wage war, basically. And in winter, in blizzard and in deep snow, the penalties that you suffer are enormous. They're like minus 50% of organization, minus 80% of attack, minus 100% of movement. So it's really difficult. And the advantage of having the Finnish troops already, let's say, prepared for winter probably made my defense easier. At some point in, I think this was southeastern Karelia, I had to give up some land because the Soviets would use their tanks to just break through my lines. And despite some very successful counterattacks, at the end I was like, no, I cannot just hold the line indefinitely. Also because in the very north, I was being pushed back from around Petsamo and the nickel mines. And at some point I just, let's say, I really lost my patience, and I was like, okay, it's fine, it's time to fall back, it's time to give the Soviets some victory points. I just cannot win this war, as historically happened. And as historically happened, my little tiny Finland actually managed to hold the line longer than my expectations, especially in the south, in front of Leningrad, where I thought that the Soviets would just break through. But then I realized, oh cool, yeah, true, I do have a river and I do have a fortified line. At least in that case, I did not really defend on the border, but I just defended behind the fortified line. But having seen that the Soviets were pushing me from southeastern Karelia, I thought I need to give up on this land because it's just I cannot hold, and I cannot risk of getting flanked from the east. And yeah, I think this was probably my biggest mistake of the whole campaign, because I abandoned the entirety of Karelia, and I gave up basically all of my fortified positions, and I had to do it. I had to abandon Viipuri to just give the Soviets basically enough victory points to trigger the decision to basically stop the hostilities. And also I noticed one big problem in the Finnish focus tree. I selected the focus to improve the fortifications in Karelia, but the problem was that I was not controlling Karelia at all, which meant that all of the fortifications were built in the Soviet-controlled territory. And I know that the Finnish focus tree needs some tweaking, and I think this is something that needs to be tweaked, because it makes no sense to have a focus that gives fortifications to a province that you just don't control anymore. And also what was kind of weird was that maybe I did not read it properly, but in the description of the peace event I read that the Soviets would have gained the Petsamo as well, while Petsamo remained in my own hands. And I was just really blown off by that. I was like, what's going on? Still, anyway, the Finnish Winter War was an absolute disaster for Finland. I've lost not that much of manpower, but that much of equipment, especially when I launched my counterattacks in the futile attempts to hold the line. And as Finland was gearing up for the revenge of 1941, I just decided to have a look at what was Germany doing in the meantime. And well, not too much surprisingly, Germany overran Poland, and I decided to just admire the German conquest of France. And yeah, because the most spicy things will occur in the next episode, I think that's already all for this narration of this video. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Stay healthy, stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next episode.